Statistics powered by the Jumper app, JUMPR, and you can see who has the greatest likelihood of jumping clear and finishing on the podium in today's class. You can play as a free fantasy game or put some money down and get odds and get returns based on those predicted stats from our team at Jumper within the BetHorseSports.com app. You get 1,000 points for your investment, and of course you allocate those points out to a rider you think will go clear, a rider you think will go on the podium. You can bet on a rider to go both. The odds obviously different for both things, very similar to like betting on odd, even, black, red in roulette versus betting on a specific number in roulette. So BetHorseSports.com partnering with us this season, and they have the title sponsorship of our forthcoming Meter 45 FEI Welcome. 50 on the start list. Bernardo Costa Cabral has laid out the course, and we've got a 13 obstacle, 16 jumping effort track with a time allowed of 77 seconds. You're going to be starting out over the Jarvis Insurance just in front of the LED advertising boards. Then rolling around 180 degrees to the right to the green and white vertical at number 2, and then it's a left-handed turn to the Western Motif double at 3A, 3B. From there, a related distance down to the Horseflight Oxer, and then a full 270-degree rollback to the right to number 5, which is a green and white vertical with a plank top. The Western Boots at number 6 comes up next, and then a slight dogleg to the Lugano, and carrying on down, all related, 5, 6, 7, and 8, the Sterling Equestrian at the end of the line. From there, it's around to the triple bar at number 9, then the triple combination line, 10 ABC, vertical, 2 strides, vertical, 1 stride Oxer, all in the colors of Split Rock Jumping Tour. Turning back then to the Autumn Leaves with the water tray underneath at number 11. At number 12, it is going to be the Vitalize before finishing over number 13, the ESI Footing branded fence. Here we go, our first to go, 77 seconds is the time allowed. We start with last week's Grand Prix winner, Tanner Karotkin. Tanner rides Sandalwood Farms Orwell SCF. So it is 8 for jumping, 2 for time there for Tanner as our first to go here in the bedhorsesports.com welcome. Of course, it is jump off format. We'll see how many clears we have or how many inequality of first place we have coming back for a jump off. But 2 for time there for Tanner, 78.16. Ashley Vogel is going to be our next to go. Ashley owns and rides Madiba AGZ. $77.21 is 1 for time. It's 12 for jumping, 1 for time there for Ashley and Madiba, who were top 10 finishers in our Grand Prix last weekend here at Lugano Diamond Split Rock. Daniel Coyle with Ariel Granger's Oak Groves Carlisle goes next. Daniel, who was 4th in our FEI Speed yesterday with his other horse for the International Tour this weekend, rides his Rotterdam Nations Cup Grand Prix winner, Oak Groves Carlisle. A jumping time faults in play as well, therefore, Daniel and Oak Grove's Carlisle. Summerhill's are next to go. Summerhill with Hannah Kine today for Tal Milstein Summer, and another horse, La Belle SCF, were top 10 with us this summer in one of our Kentucky Grand Prix on the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour. $76.34 there with the 8 faults for Summerhill and Hannah Kine. So Luis Francisco will be our next to go. Luis, the time allowed now will be 79. 79 will be your time allowed. Luis Francisco de Azevedo with Santa Cecilia Stables, HFG Quaman. World Games World Cup Finals rider for Brazil in the past, Luis Francisco de Azevedo with Quaman. $79.31. It's still going to be one for time there for Luis Francisco de Azevedo and HFG Quaman. But it is a with a rail as well, 10 C's down. So total of 5. With the slight adjustment to the time allowed, we will have updated scores for some of our first few riders. Summerhill and Hannah Keane, the only one inside either of the times allowed so far. We'll go on to Rowan Willis, though, now. Rowan owns and rides Wellington Grey Goose. Rowan's a career winner of Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix, winning it with us in Columbus, Ohio a couple of years ago with a lovely horse called Shark. Rowan, who had a very good Winter World Cup season and showed with us at Fort Worth. $74.51 for Rowan and Wellington Grey Goose. And it is clear. Clear round number one for Wellington Grey Goose and Australian Championship rider Rowan Willis. Corner Dobelensky is the sire of our next entry. This is Iowa W, ridden for Dalman Show Jumping, who provide all of our show jumps across the tour. This is Sandra Dalman. Tyser Irwin goes next. Tyser, who was top 5 in our Grand Prix last weekend. Tyser owns and rides Vanturo, number 64. Tyser and Vanturo then are clear. It's clear round number 2. It's an all-Australian jump-off so far. Rowan Willis and Tyser Irwin. We'll take Chandler Meadows now. Chandler, a good supporter of our Lugano Diamond Split Rock jumping tour, especially here at the Kentucky Horse Park. Chandler owns and rides Konak, number 196. This is won by Nabab Derev. Last part of the triple combination down, and one other. Chandler and Konak have 8 faults in 76.26. Second yesterday in the speed with one of our other horses. This is Daisy Farish returning to us. Daisy with Lane's End Show Jumping's Etonne-moi del Caballero. Thank you, Daisy, electing to retire on course there. Etonoir del Caballero and Daisy Farish. So 2 clears so far, Rowan Willis and Tyser Owen, both for Australia. Wellington Grey Goose and Vanturo coming back to us for the short course. On we go then to another for the USA then amongst our ranks of the BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome here today. It's going to be Savannah Hemby. Savannah is an owner rider here, riding Juju VDM. Savannah Hemby and Juju VDM. They give us clear round number 3 coming back for our jump off in this BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome. Santiago Lambre, Olympian. Santiago is a 2-time Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix winner, including the Invitational here during the Land Rover Kentucky 3-day. Santiago owns and rides this one for Brazil. It's Pampero. Well, that's a surprise. 4 down. It is 16 jumping faults for Santiago and Pampero. Entry now for Bonchance Farm. This is Fabio Levis Costa. Fabio for Brazil once again. This time the Brazilian rider has Elex, number 229. There's one for Brazil on the board. Fabio Levis Costa and Elex are clear. So 4 qualified now for the jump off on our Bed Horse Sports FEI Welcome. We go on to Ty Simpson now. Ty with Candesco LLC's Ecuestre. Ty, one of the leading young riders here in North America, ridden at the North American Youth Championships, of course, and showing throughout the U25 Tour at the Winter Equestrian Festival. A jumping 2 for time there for Ty and Ecuestre, so it is 10 faults here in our bedhorsesports.com FEI Welcome. So staying with the Simpson family, it's Will Simpson, US Olympian now, with Will Simpson Stables, Chaco P. Chaco P by Chaco Blue, the sire of our Olympic champion in the sport at the moment. Will Simpson and Chaco P go clear. They give us clear round number 5. That gets the USA. Another one alongside Savannah Hemby. It's 2 for Australia, 2 for the USA, and 1 for Brazil so far amongst our 5 qualified for the short course here in the BetHorseSports.com Welcome. Let's see what Canada can do now. Hyde Moffat rides for Canada and rides for Ariel Grange with this one, Gisborne VDL. Just the 4, 75-67, those who don't make it to the jump-off ranked according to faults and time in this initial round. So that goes into our 6th best honours at the moment behind our 5 clears. Riding his Tokyo horse, Alejandro. 2 very good results in Global Champions Grand Prix this season for this pair, Miami Beach and in New York. Shane Sweetnam for Spy Coast Farm, Ireland with Alejandro. Nice clear round there for Alejandro. It's 1 for Ireland now as clear round number 6 goes for Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro. Luis Francisco da Azevedo should be our next. Santa Cecilia Stables for the Brazilian rider with Colin. So it is 4, unfortunately, for Luis Francisco. The vitalized down, Luis Francisco de Azevedo and Collins scoring 4 in that time of 76.98. So they go 8th. Right, who had a very good day with us yesterday on the international tour, Roberto Terrantafour. Rocking Basilisk Stables Santana is his ride today. They were on the podium in 3rd, and Roberto was our winner yesterday of the FEI Speed with his other horse. So 4 faults, the autumn leaves with the water tray underneath down for Santana and Roberto Terrantafour 4 in 73.75. So that goes 7th. It's our fastest 4 faulter. Jonathan McRae goes next. Windsor Show Stables Fantasy BB is the ride for Jonathan, one of our early Split Rock Grand Prix winners over at the farm. Middle part of the triple combination and the front rail off the last for John McRae and Fantasy BB, making it 8 in 75.53 in the first round. Nations Cup rider for the USA this spring in Mexico, Maria Costa. Maria with Ravello Farms, Iceman B, SFN. Nice clear there for Maria. That is clear round number 7 coming back to us here in our BetHorseSports.com welcome. Another young rider in the sport, U25 contender this spring at Wellington, Florida, Francisco Goiaga Mole, rides Spencer Smith's Ice Zottendale Z. Two down on the way round, unfortunately, there for Francisco Goiaga and Ice Zottendale, so it is 8 jumping faults. Aaron Vales are next to go. Laurie D. Osterstock's I Ademi R4 for Aaron here in our BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome. The leaves stand, the autumn leaves for Aaron Vale and I Ademi R4, 76.29 with the 4 faults, goes 10th, 7 clears. Roberto Tarantifour, the fastest of the 4 faulters, holding 8th place on the ranking. Back to Daniel Coyle. The Irish international Daniel with Ariel Grange's Jeffrey Jardine. Top 5 finishes with us yesterday in the speed. Daniel is clear. Jeffrey Jardine and Daniel Cord jump clear. Clear run number 8 here in the welcome as we approach halfway through the initial round of jumping. BetHorseSports.com. Meter 45 international welcome here during week 2 of Lexington. Go back to Daisy Farish now. Daisy with Gerko. Gerko was a bit of a sleeper hit last week. Steady in the speed, steady in the welcome, but ended up top 10 then in the Grand Prix for Daisy. Two in a row. Clear round number 9 goes for Daisy and Gerko. And we're going to take one more before the drag break. It is another for Ireland. Dara Cairns. Dara riding for Eve Jobs here with Valentino Tullier, the career Hampton Classic Grand Prix winner, World Cup winner here in North America as well, and many times on winning Nations Cup teams for Ireland over the years. Dara Cairns, number 132. Clear round number 10, Valentino Tullier and Dara Cairns jump clear to take us up to the drag break here in the midst of the initial round of jumping at the BetHorseSports.com. Meter 45 international welcome. Clear so far for Rowan Willis, for Tyza Owen, for Savannah Hemby, Fabio Levis Costa, Will Simpson, Shane Sweetenham, Maria Costa, Daniel Coyle, Daisy Farish, and Dara Cairns. So the drag crew leaving us here at the bedhorsesports.com FEI Welcome. We'll be having the first horse up in just a few moments' time, looking to join the 10 currently qualified for the jump-off here in our meter 45 specification international jump-off class. A build-up, of course, to Sunday's Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix here to conclude our 2 weeks of international action. Back to the action. We've got 10 jump-off contenders to hand at the moment. How many more will we get from the second half of the draw? Start with a rider who's been twice a World Cup qualifier winner here in North America, including at Columbus, Ohio, with us on the Split Rock Jumping Tour, a medalist at the Pan American Games for the USA. Alex Granato, Kisma Equestrians, Helios van der Noshover. Getting us back underway there with a four-faulter, Alex Granada and Helios van der Noshover. Alex and Helios going into 12th. Already qualified for the jump-off with Ventura, we welcome back Tyser Owen now, the Australian international. Tyser owns and rides Jack. Suddenly denied having two in the jump off there. Jack and Tyce Irwin have the Vitalised down on the way home for 4 faults. 75.83 was the time taken. They slot into 14th on our ranking so far. US World Cup finalist Skylar Riley. Skylar rides E2 show jumpers Very Chic to T-Yard. Next up, Very Chic to T-Yard by Diamantesemi. For jumping 4 time, 8 in all for Skylar Riley and Very Chic to T-Yard. Casey is our next to go, ridden by Brazilian Olympian Santiago Lambre. Santiago riding for Mario Oñate. Santiago's second ride here in our BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome. Time faults as well. 4 for jumping, 1 for time for Santiago and Casey. 79.24, the time taken. Lorcan Gallagher is going to be our next to go. The Irish international has a lot of good Grand Prix success here in North America. Lorcan with Lost Lake Farm LLC's Copycat. Four faults then for Lorcan and Copycat on the way around, 76.24, 15th best at this stage. Second ride now for Fabio Levis Costa. Fabio Levis has already qualified Elex through to the jump off. Now it's the turn of Bonchance Farms HFB Versace. Two down, 8 faults for Fabio and HFB Versace, 76.34. Second ride in the welcome now for Tanner Korotkin. Sandalwood Farms Volo's Diamond this time around for Tanner, our defending Grand Prix champion from week 1 here in Kentucky. Tanner and Volo's time in there, it is 8-4, 76-39. Still 10 clear rounds as we go back to Hyde Moffat now. Hyde with Ariel Granger's Quinton, number 175. Caprice Bois Margot, the sire of this one. Dutch warm blood bred in the Netherlands. Four and 78-12 there for Hyde and Quinton. On we go then to a rider who's spent the summer based in Ireland and competing in Europe. Nations Cups for the USA this year at Lisbon in Portugal and Madrid in Spain. Charlotte Jacobs with Rincula Milshorn, horse that picked up some good five-star results at the Nations Cup show at Hickstead in Great Britain and also jumped well in the Grand Prix at Balmoral in Northern Ireland. Clear there for Charlotte and Rincula Milshorn, the wonderful Irish sport horse there by Aldato Z. That gives us clear round number 11. It's in fact our first clear round since the drag break here in the BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome. Shane Sweetnam's our next to go. Shane, who picked up his golden ticket to the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix 2 weeks ago in New York on Governor's Island. Shane rides Spy Coast Farms Out of the Blue SCF. Four to the back rail off the Lugano there, 4 in 76.62 for Shane and Out of the Blue. Shane, though, and Alejandro will be back for the jump-off. Shane was one of our early qualifiers. Kristen Berrien's our next on course. Kristen with Coral Sea Stables, Fantast van Het Vinkenhof. Four for jumping, 2 for time for Kristen Berrien, and Fantast 80.45 is the time taken. Relatively new ride now for Aaron Vale. This is Thinks Like a Horse's Christo Beach. Previously with Cara Chad and for a short while with British international Matt Sampson. Aaron and this horse got off to winning ways together at the World Equestrian Centre in Ocala with an international victory down there this spring. Christo Beach, Aaron Vale. 4 in 75.79. That goes into 15th place. Our fastest for Falter in 12th is Roberto Tarantafura Santana in 73.75. So next forward is going to be Will Simpson once again, this time riding for 5 Roosters. Will with number 302, Whoop-de-Doo. Will already qualified for the jump off with Chaco P. He's going to be the 5th we see because they come back in the order in which they qualified. Will Simpson and Whoop-de-Doo electing to retire there on course. We will see, as we mentioned, Will back with Chaco P for our jump off here in the BetHorseSports.com Welcome. So the last rider remaining who could steer 2 through to the jump off, Derek Aarons. Dara with Eve Jobs, Licino. Number 475, Licino is a Holsteiner by Limbus. Derek Aarons and Licino are clear there. Clear round number 12. Dara with the 10th and 12th clear round on the order for the jump-off. Jonathan McRae comes back to us. Jonathan for the USA with Christine McRae's Gazelle ES. Jonathan and Gazelle, it is 4 faults at the Vitalize, unfortunately, for the pair. Time 76.46, so top 20. Next to go for Brazil, riding Santa Cecilia Stables, Luis Francisco de Azevedo and Nashville. Four faults, triple combination line gives the 4 faults for Luis Francisco de Azevedo and Nashville. Well, next to go for the USA, riding Lucarelli Internationals, Maurice Horte, it's Martin van der Hoeven. Martin had some very good young horse results this year at the Pin Oak Charity Horse Show in Texas. Martin van der Hoeven and Maurice Sauter. So they are clear round number 13 there for Maurice Sauter and Martin van der Hoeven. So winner of the speed leg yesterday, Roberto Taranta 4, comes back to us. Trefoil Farms, BP Wakita. Roberto Taranta 4 and BP Wakita electing to retire on course. 13 clears, 5 more to go in the initial round of jumping here of our BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome for week 2 in Kentucky. Francisco Goya-Gamole and Strasbourg-Moran's Ecuestre, the second ride for Francisco for Spain in the initial round of our BetHorseSports.com Welcome. Eight falls then for Francisco, 74.69 with Icarus. Winner on the national tour before the internationals got going this week, Santiago Lambre, Comtesse 202. Santiago riding for Mario Iñate here for Brazil. And Santiago is also going to retire. Santiago, Comtesse 202, retiring on course. Now, those who want to go into the Grand Prix It may be that it's only 1 horse per rider. That is to be confirmed, but they do need to complete the initial round of one of our international classes, so either yesterday's speed or this first round today in the Welcome, to have their horse qualified for Grand Prix. Three more to see before we conclude the BetHorseSports.com initial round here on our international series. Audrey Mascari came here to our 2 weeks in Lexington off the back of a Grand Prix podium down in Tryon, North Carolina. Jumped this horse Cicero through our international series last week. Cicero HS and Audrey Mascari for the USA. Last goes as well, making it 20 faults for Audrey Mascari and Cicero HS. Well, next to go, US World Cup finalist and a top 10 finisher in our Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix last year in Aiken, South Carolina. Michelle Braun with Split Rock Farms, Quinn, number 472. Single rail down, 4 faults, 77.08 the time there for Quinn and Michelle Braun. Last to go is going to be Harden Tal. Harden owns and rides this one, Bohème de Moulin, another relatively new combination in our sport, competing together in North Carolina in June, and then with us here last week through the international series of the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour. Four falls, 74.56 there for Harden Tal and Bohème de Moulin to wrap up our first round of jumping. Harden 16th on that. 13 clears, Roberto Terrantefour 14th with the fastest four-faulter, Alex Granato just behind. Then it's Harden Tal, then Hyde Moffat. A lot of four-faulters there on the ranking of our first round, but it's 13 coming back to us in the order in which they've qualified. Rowan Willis, Tyser Irwin, Savannah Hemby, Fabio Levis Costa, Will Simpson, Shane Sweetnam, Maria Costa, Daniel Coyle, Daisy Farish, Dara Cairns, Charlotte Jacobs, and then Dara Cairns again. Dara, the only rider with two. He will be eligible to come 10th with Valentino Tullier and 13th with Licino. Our jump off track for our 13 coming back starts here just in front of the jury box. The one remaining part of what was the triple combination line, 10C. Round to New Fence, the Dalman Jump Company at number 14. Then it is number 6, the Western Boots. Down to number 7, the Lugano Diamonds in the middle of the ring, the French Grey Fence. Then around to 3A and B, the Western Motifs double. Turning back then to the Vitalize, which has now been built as a vertical, so we give it a new number because it's changed specification. We'll call it 15. And going on to the ESI at number 13. The time allowed in the jump off is going to be 48 seconds. And we'll see what Dara does. But at the moment, they are qualified to come back in the order in which they qualified. So Dara with Valentina Tullier is 10th and then 13th with Licino of our 13-horse jump off. So here is our first. The first to qualify. We'd seen about 5 through the ring before we got our first clear round, and it came from the very experienced championship rider for Australia. He's been a Nations Cup Grand Prix winner at the 5-star level. Rowan Willis. Rowan owns and rides Wellington Grey Goose. Rowan, one of several riders here at the show to be career Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix winners as well. Very nice double clear there for Rowan and Wellington Grey Goose, 37-17. Difficult to win an international jump off from the get-go, but there's very few men you might bet against to do it. Rowan Willis won them 37-17, but we shall see. There might be a little bit of meat left on the bone. There'll be eagle eyes around the field, looking at the lines he took, the strides he took, seeing whether there's more to be had. And to see whether Australia's going to stay in the driving seat, we go to Tyser Owen. Tyser owns and rides Vanturo. Slower across the ground, 43.75 for Taizu, who was top 5 with us in our Grand Prix last week. Vanturo, double clear, second place. Our third clear came for the USA. It was Savannah Hemby. Savannah owns and rides this entry as Juju VDM. Belgian warm blood by Toulon. $39.94, a competitive time there from Juju and Savannah Hemby, but they really took the Vitalize out at the roots. It is 4 faults in the jump off for Savannah and Juju, so goes third best. The double clears will be better than a 4-faulter in the jump off. With the Baltic 9-year-old Elex, Fabio Levis Costa is our next forward for the jump-off here in our BetHorseSports.com International Welcome. Time to beat, 37.17. $39.87 with the double clear. Fabio Levis gets that inside turn. Back to the Vitalize. That could be the key to success for anyone to get in front of Rowan Willis and Wellington Grey Goose. Is 37.17. So Fabio splits up our 2 Australian riders, goes into second place. We go on now to Will Simpson. Will with Will Simpson Stables Incorporated. It's Chaco Pete. Will, who is a great sport with us this year in the Invitational during the Land Rover Kentucky 3-Day, and US Olympian. 5th to show. The lead in our international goes into American hands for the first time. Will Simpson and Chaco P, 36.93, become the ones to beat. Well, the vastly experienced Alejandro now with Arlen Shane Sweetnam for Spy Coast Farm LLC. Can Ireland move into the driving seat? 36.93 it is to beat. 34.87 for Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro. Not a combination that picks up a ticket to the one of the richest Grand Prix in the world, the launching global champions to a Super Grand Prix, without having a bit of a turn of speed. Shane and Alejandro, 34.87 are the ones to beat. Maria Costa's our next to go. Maria with Ravello Farms LLC's Iceman B SFN. US Nations Cup rider Maria Costa and Iceman B, the former Spring Pardon Fonds Nederlands horse, 40.08 with the double clear, goes top 5. Daniel Coyle and Jeffrey Jardine. Daniel riding Jeffrey Jardine for Ariel Grange, the just 8-year-old Dutch bred by Bastique. Top 5 finishes in the speed yesterday. Well, Daniel there with 2 down early on in the jump-off round, so it's 8 faults, 43.36. He ended up taking it steady thereafter. Daniel and Jeffrey go into 8th place. Daniel was the start of a run of 3 just before the drag break. Following Daniel Coyle's clear, we got Daisy Farish. Daisy with Lane's End Show Jumping's Gerko. Top 10 finishes in last week's Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix. Sponsored by Lugano Diamonds and presented by Hagyard Equine Medical Institute. Daisy and Gerko have 2 down in the jump-off round themselves. 44.25 goes 9th. First of 2 in the jump-off for Irish Championship contender Dara Kerins. Dara rides for Yves Jobs here, and the first of his 2 is Valentino Tullier, Diamant de Semilly, Sol Francais. Slotting into second place there, 36.44, just pips Will Simpson for that second place honours. Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro, they're still quite a bit faster, very nearly 2 full seconds faster. After the drag break, it was Charlotte Jacobs who gave us our first clear round with North Star Show Jumping's Rinkula Milshorn. Well, just cast a couple of shoes and pads here on the first distance, so I imagine they just felt that they wouldn't be well balanced enough to take on the rest of the jump off, so Charlotte and Rinkula Milshorn retire. So the next qualifier for the jump-off was Dara Kerens, Dara with Lucino, and then Martin van der Hoeven and Maurice Horter gave us our 13th and final contender. Of course, only moments ago since we saw Dara with Valentino Tullier going into second in 36.44. Dara will have hopped across onto Lucino, be getting that horse warmed up. So just 2 more to see. Will it be Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro? Will it be Dara Kerens, Lucino, or will it be Martin van der Hoeven and Maurice Horter, who are our eventual winners of the BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome? Martin van der Hoeven very generously moves up here with Lucarelli International's Maurice Horter. Well, not the first to just find the Vitalize very much in their way. 4 faults for Martin van der Hoeven and Maurice Horter. So Derek Aarons is ready now to come forward with Licino. Darrell already sitting in second with Valentino Tullier, 36.44. A very impressive 34.87, though, is the time that leads for Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro. Our trailblazer, Rowan Willis, who we thought was fast, still sits fourth. $37.94 there for Darren Licino. It's going to be top 5 for Licino today. Rowan Willis and Wellington Grey Goose will hang on to fourth. Will Simpson Chaco P third. Derek Aarons, Valentino Tullier in second. Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro are our winners, though, 34.87. We ended up with 8 double clears behind that top 5 that we just mentioned. In 6th, Fabio Levis Costa and Elex for Brazil. 7th, Maria Costa, Iceman B. And Tyser Owen and Vanturo round out our top 8 of double clears for Australia. So awards coming up. Looking forward to a Saturday that will be capped off by the National Grand Prix here tomorrow at the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour. Junior amateurs throughout the day, the speed legs of the Helite Meter 20, the Vitalized Meter 30, Riders Boutique 7-year-old final tomorrow here in the Walnut Ring. The Meter 40 Junior Amateur Speed, sponsored by Perfect Products. And then our Jarvis Insurance Meter 35 National Prix is the feature tomorrow, a $20,000 Meter 35 National Prix. Well, here they come, accompanied by founder and president of the Split Rock Jumping Tour, Derek Braun, our top 8 from today's BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome. Our thanks so much to BetHorseSports.com. And don't forget, our Grand Prix on Sunday will be another of the daily fantasy featured classes, but much more exciting and engaging to put a little bit of money down and spread your points around, betting on who you think was going to be a clear round or a podium finisher. That's BetHorseSports.com, powered by the Jumper app statistics. Taking 8th place in our BetHorseSports.com Welcome is Australian rider who was top 5 in our Grand Prix last weekend, Tyza Irwin with Vanturo. Maria Costa had a very nice round today, a double clear for all of our top 8. This is with Iceman B for 7th for the USA. Taking 6th, riding Elex, just under 40 seconds in the jump off for Fabio Levas Costa. 2 in the top 5 for Derek Aarons. His lovely Limbus horse, Licino, went around so nicely for 5th place in 37.94. Rowan Willis was our trailblazer in the jump-off. Might have been higher if he had been a little bit later. We'll have to wait and see. But 37.17 for Rowan, and Wellington Grey Goose finishes just off the podium in 4th for Australia. Well, we'll set up our podium then. Taking 3rd place on our podium today, riding Chaco P. Double clear in 36.93, US Olympian Will Simpson. Taking 2nd place with Valentino Tullier, his first of 2 rides in the jump-off, is Irish Championship rider Derek Aarons. And it's victory, riding Alejandro, number 353, for Ireland's Shane Sweetnam in 34.87. So we'll make sure we get the photos of our 3 riders on the podium there, accompanied by Derek Braun. And ladies and gentlemen, with our podium set, could we ask you please to rise as we celebrate victory in the BetHorseSports.com FEI Welcome with the playing of the national anthem for our winner, Shane Sweetnam, Ireland. Well on Shane and Alejandro taking victory here today. Alejandro for Spy Coast Farm. Spy Coast have been fantastic supporters of Shane for many, many years. And wonderful to have their horse Alejandro taking victory here today. Of course, just moments away from Spy Coast's Kentucky facility. Just one door further down here on Ironworks. So get our riders back in the saddle. We've had podium pictures. We're about to get victory gallop pictures as well from our team, including Josh at Winslow Show Photography. And hopefully 1 or 2 entrants into the Abbey Jones, Sotheby's International Realty Fist Pump Challenge here for week 2 as well. Will Simpson's out there. He's been... he had a good try in week 1. Let's see if he can get onto the leaderboard in week 2. But Shane Sweetnam could easily go into the lead here. He has the hat off, saluting you, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner, Shane Sweetnam, Alejandro for Ireland of the BetHorseSports.com International Welcome. Derek Aarons in a great 2nd place, Valentino Tullier. Will Simpson, Chaco P in 3rd. Rowan Willis, Wellington Grey Goose. Rowan, a former winner with us on the tour with Shark up in Columbus, Ohio. Dara took 5th with Licino. Fabio Levas Costa puts Brazil into the leaderboard. Maria Costa in 7th. And Tyza Irwin was making a 2 for Australia, double clear in the top 8 with Vanturo.